and welcome to the Lillian McMorris Show. I am Lillian, and we are so happy to have you join us. We have a wonderful guest, and we're going to find out about a program that's been in our community over 20 years. And as a matter of fact, I can remember when this particular program was just out of a small house in downtown Las Vegas. And since then, it has grown and helped so many people in our community, and that is Nevada Partners. And please meet, and I'd like to introduce the President, CEO, Monica Ford. Welcome, Monica.
Well, hello. I'm so pleased to be here.
I'm so happy to have you here.
Yes.
There are so many programs at Nevada Partners. I mean, you have grown. It's unimaginable how big the circumference is now of Nevada Partners.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's really about meeting the community, what the community needs. So, you know, we started with just an adult and a youth department, as
Correct.
you probably remember. And from that, we have expanded in so many different venues. So we still do adult and youth. That's always going to be our platform. Okay. But we now have a housing department. We also have a Build Nevada, which is a pre-apprenticeship construction program.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and we have, I mean, we just do so many great things and so many great
let's talk about a few of those, because I know the Build Nevada program, I worked with one when the Urban Chamber had it, with the pre-construction learning forklift and all of those things.
Yes.
So is it similar to that, where someone can come in and they know nothing, and you actually help them through the math portion, through all of that?
Absolutely. It's very similar to that. One of the challenges was that we were having a lot of individuals in our community in the historic West Las Vegas area not being able to get into the apprenticeships.
Right.
So what we were able to do is partner with the apprenticeships and the community college and UNLV and several of the trades to really make sure that we had a focused construction trades so that we could get individuals the skills that they needed. So it was a very tough program, but that's because we have to make sure that individuals are prepared so that they can be successful. And
that's been the platform of Nevada Partners. And what people don't know is when the MGM opened, they went into the diversity thing, and they wanted to make sure that they were diverse in hiring. But we had so many people in our community who didn't know how to fill out an application, who didn't know how to present themselves. So Tony Gladney and myself actually taught that class of how to fill out an application and present yourself when the MGM was taking all the applications. And it was phenomenal. How many, and they actually were totally diverse when they first opened. Totally. Based on people knowing what to put on that application, knowing what to wear, and knowing what to say.
Absolutely.
So the programs that you have, they feed people in our community so well.
Yes, and that's what it's really all about. It's really about making sure that individuals do have the information. One of the things that people talk about is, well, nobody told me. I don't have the tools.
I don't have the tools.
You know, I don't have the tools. So we want to make sure that individuals are prepared. Again, that they have their job ready, that they have the work readiness. So just like you're talking about the interviewing skills and the job, now everything is computerized. So there's so many individuals
that don't know how to use a computer.
So again, they're responsive to the needs of the community. There's individuals that are like, well, we would love to do this. We can't get in the door because we don't have this. Or there's something that they need to work on in terms of maybe they have some concerns in their background and they need assistance in those ways. So there's many things that we're continuing to provide, being responsive to the community.
And that is so important. Let's talk about some of the other programs that you have there.
So we also have our youth department, and Congressman Horsford, that was his baby.
That's his baby.
That's his baby, coming in and really making sure that we're re-engaging the youth into education and leadership skills. So we still see individuals from the age of 14 to 21, because right around 21 we can actually transfer them into the adult program. But 14 to 21, they come in and there's a wealth of information and programming. So right now we have gender-specific programming because oftentimes it's important that they're within their genders and that we can really focus on whatever the concerns are. Leadership and resiliency training. And I know all of this stuff you remember.
No, it's just that we have so many of our youth that if we take their concentration on being I won't say rough and tough and bullying and all of those things, but you take those skills
Yes.
and mold them
Yes.
into leadership.
Absolutely.
And see, and that is what's so important, is making sure the youth understand you don't have to be rough and tough and mean and bad. Take those skills and utilize them and be a leader.
And we have so many great leaders in our community. The youth that come through our doors are so ready to learn different things. So one of the things that I really enjoy is work experiences and getting them exposed to areas that they may have never seen. So it's so wonderful to be able to have them meet a Miss Lillian or meet a senator, meet whoever it is. It's really important because it's those type of experiences that give them the, I can do this.
Right.
They hear the stories and understand that really I can do this just as well as this, and they are our future.
Right, absolutely.
Let me tell you about one of the new initiatives that we're doing. It's called the Graduate Advocate Initiative, and it's with the state. So the governor came down and said we needed to really focus on our schools. We are often known as the last in education, which I don't like to say because we have a lot of brilliant young adults. But we needed to find some ways to really re-engage our youth. So we have this program. There's 14 schools that were designated high need schools. We're in 7 of the 14.
Oh, that's great.
The other 7 are serviced by other service providers and Help of Nevada, Help of Southern Nevada. So I am so pleased to note that we were able to increase the graduation rates over this last year.
Wow.
Over our 7 schools between 40 to 70+% in graduation. So it is a wonderful program, and it's in partnership with the Workforce Investment Act or Workforce Connections. And
because I've talked to a lot of people at Workforce Connection. They go, "Oh, Nevada Partners, Nevada Partners."
But it is so wonderful. We actually have case managers on site at the schools because it really needs a holistic approach in order for these young individuals to be successful.
Now, what about English as a second language?
English as a second language, we always focus on that as well. So we have classes that support that, and we also have, through Culinary Academy of Las Vegas, they have a VSOL class, which is Vocational English of Speakers of Other Languages, and that focuses on that as well.
Well, that's a great segue because you do have the Culinary Training Academy.
That is correct. The Culinary Training Academy is on Nevada Partners campus, and we have such a great synergy. I mean, there's such a great emphasis because one of the main business industries, of course, is hospitality.
Correct.
Well, they train in hospitality, and they train over 12 of the classifications from the hotels right there. And one of the great things about this is that individuals can come into Nevada Partners not quite sure what they want to do, what direction.
How can I do it?
How do I get here? What do I do? So we're right here. They're right on the campus. We can provide them the support. So we do supportive services. So say they need a bus pass.
Right.
Or they need, there may be some mental health issues that they need some support with. We can do all the supportive services, and they'll go through the training at the Culinary Academy of Las Vegas.
Yes.
So it's wonderful. It just, just the
Now, I know you have a website that
Yes.
has a tremendous amount of information.
Yes.
I mean, there are so many different programs that Nevada Partners has. So that's nevadapartners.org.
That is correct.
Stage, carnival-like atmosphere, food, rides, vendors. It's a pirate fest at Lorenzi Park, April 25th through the 27th. Bring the family out and have a fun day, or I should say fun days, April 25th through the 27th, Pirate Fest at Lorenzi Park. 100 Black Men of Las Vegas, would you like to be a member? Giving your time back to the youth in our community. Our #1 project is mentoring. Join 100 Black Men of Las Vegas. There's a membership drive. Call 888-812-5455 for more information. The Lillian McMorris Show is brought to you in part by Louisiana Gumbo and More, located on West Charleston. The best gumbo, fried catfish, salads, and don't forget the po' boys. That's Louisiana Gumbo and More on West Charleston. And welcome back. We're still talking to Monica Ford from Nevada Partners. And just in case you didn't get that phone number, I really want you to write it down. It's 702-924-2100. That's 702-924-2100. Or better yet, go to the website, because there's so many programs, and that's one reason why we want to continue this interview, because one important program that everybody needs help with, I don't care who you are, is housing. And whether you're looking for a house, you need some orientation as to what's going on, how do you qualify, how do you fill out all those papers. Anyway, Monica, let's talk a little bit about what you have to offer at Nevada Partners for people who are looking to purchase a home.
Okay. Well, first, I'd like to mention that Nevada Partners' aim is really more about staying in your home. So we have a first-time home buyer's education, pre-purchasing counseling, and financial stability and asset
Don't
development.
just get it, and 3 years down the road,
Yes.
you got to walk away.
Yes, and we are really pleased to note that we've housed over 700 individuals with no defaults at all.
Wow.
So that goes to show about the emphasis on training and development, education, and long-standing partnerships. So so we have a down payment assistance that provides over $20,000 of down payment assistance. But of course, you first have to come through our orientation.
I was going to say now, what are the steps in order to qualify for that $20,000 down payment?
So I'll tell you a little bit about the process. You first have to come through our orientation. The orientation provides information from realtors and lenders and just, general information just to make sure you're even home buying ready. You have to be in that position first. If you are not in that position, that's when we continue to provide you financial assistance and asset development training and different workshops. But once individuals are ready, then they have to come through the HUD certified, because Nevada Partners is HUD certified, through our pre-purchasing counseling and education, which is an 8-hour education.
So needed. Home buyer education, yes.
After that, we go through a whole one-on-one process. So first, it's just the education, which is the 8 hours, and then that certifies the individual. But then we also take it a couple of steps where we do one-on-one counseling, and we do budget preparing. We do several things in our financial asset program to make sure that they are ready to purchase and that they will get the best
knowledge.
Yes,
it's a knowledge base.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because most people don't know. They're looking for a home. Okay, I can't afford it, so they go rent.
Right.
But if they come in for pre-purchase counseling, come in for the orientation, they're going to learn, maybe I can do that.
Yes.
Maybe I can be a homeowner.
And oftentimes we put them on a savings plan. So we have projected goals. So if you meet this goal by this time frame, then you'll be ready. But it's not just, again, and I just like to stress, it's not just about getting into the home. It really is about keeping your home and making sure that individuals have what they need to maintain that. That's why some of our other programming offsets that as well, because employment is important. A lot of individuals have unfortunately lost their homes because they're no longer employed, where we have that offset of being able to continue to provide them employment and work readiness training. So it really does flow together.
Are you finding that people are coming and having questions and really want to learn how to keep their homes?
Absolutely. No one wants to lose their home. And individuals are coming to us, and it's so encouraging that our community is saying, I want to stay in this home. I want my children to have a backyard to play in. I don't want to uproot them. We talk about education. We want them to stay in the zone schools or the magnet schools, or but to be able to stay in your home is a lifelong dream,
What are some of the pre-qualifications in order to be a part of this program, a part of your housing services?
Well, because we have several different different programs, what I would encourage is individuals to come to our organization, because one main one that we have is the culinary. Many people in Las Vegas are a part of the culinary union. So we administer the culinary bartenders housing program, but even if you're not a part of that union, we have home, we have NSP funds, just different funds that we can provide, and they all have different qualifications.
Okay.
So what I would encourage is, one, you can call our housing department at the number that you provided, 924-2100.
Okay.
And then you just ask for the housing department, and we can tell you specifically which one, or individuals can come to our orientation, and they'll be provided
Now, is there a schedule of the orientations on your website?
They are on the website. In addition, you can always call our housing department, which is at that number, and they can provide the next one and schedule individuals for the orientation.
Okay. We've been talking to Monica Ford, and we're talking about now housing and how that you can afford to get in a house, but go about it in a way that you know that you can keep that home for your family. Your kids can play and go to school and do all of those good things. But all you have to do is call Nevada Partners, and that's 702-924-2100, 702-924-2100, or go to their website. Very simple, nevadapartners.org. We want to thank you, Monica, for being with us. We certainly do appreciate all of the information that you have given us. In this last bit about housing and all the services and all the programs that you have to offer, that is a need. People need to know that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Well, we're going to now go on to another guest, so you stay tuned. We'll be right back. 10 Golden Keys to Effective Networking. This book is designed to strengthen your networking techniques. It is an ebook for instant download. Go to LillianMcMorris.com. That's 10 Golden Keys for Effective Networking. Your resource at HB, that is your resource at Hollywood Bound. We are growing by leaps and bounds, and we have office space, meeting space, production, technology, all of the things that you need for your office. The Lillian McMorris Show is produced by Tego and Associates Productions, full service productions, corporate videos, websites, commercials, multi-camera shoots, either in our studio or on location. That's Tego and Associates Productions. Give us a call at 702-509-7728. And welcome back. We have a wonderful guest. I've known this lady, I'd say 20 years. And this portion of her profession is rather new to me, so I'm going to introduce it to you because I think it's exciting. I've often wondered, how do people do this? I'd like to introduce Lisa Lee. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you, Lillian. I'm happy to be here.
I am so happy that you are here. Lisa is a natural psychic and a medium.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, let's start out by educating our people. Natural psychic.
Certainly. A natural psychic is somebody who is born with an ability, and maybe it runs in their family. And this ability is to tell the future or to know things about people that they've never met.
Correct.
And I'm also a medium, and that runs in my family, too.
Okay. And a medium?
A medium is someone who can talk to the dearly departed, people that have passed away. You get messages and you get information for folks that are still here on the earth.
Oh my gosh. And I'm sure that you touch many hearts. I don't want to get off subject, but I can only imagine that you touch many hearts with that.
I feel that I do, and I think it's a blessing. And I had it ever since I was a little kid, but it wasn't quite popular back in the 70s, 80s. Well, it might have been to tell people this because I think you were crazy as all get out.
Right.
So,
well, you still have a certain percentage of folks that do.
Yes.
You do.
But now 80% of Americans believe in psychic ability.
Right.
So I decided to come out of the closet.
Yeah. She didn't.
The psychic closet. I decided.
Now, professional intuitive consultant.
Yes, it's really the same thing in the sense that I deal with professionals, and interestingly, the perception of a psychic or medium to some is they could be a little crazy, or maybe they're making things up, or maybe they're reading cards, and you can do all of that. But in my profession, what I do now is people come to me for a job advice. I think it's more professionalized now, and a lot of people take it seriously. People will come to me and ask me what stocks to buy, what computers to buy, where to move to, and things like that, in addition to their love life.
Okay. Yeah, I should ask you about that
Okay,
one.
sure. Is that
I
one's
have to
off?
ask you about the love life.
Should that be off camera? No, just kidding.
It can be on camera. It can be on. I'm good. My life is pretty much an open
There
book.
you go. You're in the public eye.
I have 25 years, not
Yes.
only in America, but also in Europe.
Yes, I have clients all over the world, and it's interesting. It's more of a word of mouth type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
As a professional, my main job was being a university professor most of these years, and I've had some political appointments and worked in the
Right.
political world,
Right.
as you know. But primarily over 25 years teaching school, but I always knew things about my students, and at first I thought, well, this is crazy, and I would hold back from saying something.
Okay.
But every once in a while it would slip out, and then my students would say, my goodness, how would you
How
know
did
this
you
about
know the dog didn't eat my homework?
Exactly. When they came to me and said the dog ate my homework, I said, no, you were out
You
with that
don't
girl.
have a dog.
Right. And they couldn't get away with it, so that's how it evolved. And I have kind of an interesting story, if you'd like me to share it as to how I
Please.
evolved. I was on an airplane and I was going to Boston.
Oh, yes, I wanted you to share the story anyway. Yes,
Oh, I'm
please
happy
do.
to.
Yes,
Sure,
yes.
Sure. I was visiting someone in Boston, and at the time I was departing to come back to Las Vegas.
Okay.
And I said to my friend, I really don't feel comfortable about getting on this plane, and I've flown for years, so I'm not afraid of flying.
Right.
And he said to me at the time, I don't know why you're worried about it because you fly all the time. I said, you're right. So I got on the plane. I went on the plane and I sat down and I started feeling really uncomfortable. I started to get a stomach ache. I was getting a headache, and I thought, am I getting sick? Is it something I ate? And I had this nagging feeling that I needed to get off the plane, or at least tell the pilot there was something wrong with it. So then what happened is I walked over to the pilot because I thought if I don't say something, I may regret it later. And I said, listen, and this was back in the day when you could knock on the cockpit.
And just talk to the pilot. Now you knock on there, you go to jail.
You get arrested. And I thought, oh, I got to do it. It's nagging at me.
Right.
And unfortunately, a little story behind it, my mother had just recently passed away prior to that, and we had a strong bond. And one of the things she said to me is, we never really told people about our psychic ability because, again, it wasn't popular to do
then.
so.
Right.
And she said, but when I go, I want you to know, I'm going to hand it off to you, kid. And I said, no, thanks, I don't want it. And ironically, it's so funny. I was on the plane, I kept hearing her voice.
Oh, wow.
And she would say to me, Lisa, get off the plane. Lisa, get off the plane. And I'm thinking, who do I know in Boston? So I'm looking around the plane. I don't know anybody on the plane. I thought I was losing it. And I don't drink and I don't take drugs, so I knew I wasn't high. And I knew, I thought, okay, I'm losing my mind. But I kept hearing it. And what really got to me, Lillian, is when I was a child, when you're a kid and you get in trouble and your parent might call you by your first and middle name.
Oh, the whole name.
Yeah, the
Yes.
whole
The whole name, yes.
And my first name is Lisa. My middle name is Lee.
Okay.
And I kept hearing, Lisa Lee, if you don't get off this plane. And I thought, okay, that's my mother.
That's mother.
That's mother. And that's why I used Lisa Lee, because in her honor for helping me through this. And what I ended up doing
That's
is
so
telling,
sweet.
thank you. Yeah, I just, she's the one that did it to me. I mean,
Yeah.
passed on the ability.
Right.
So I go over to the pilot and I said, look, I know that you might think I'm a nut, but I'm going to tell you right now there's a problem with this plane. You need to check it because if you don't, I think we're all going to have issues. And as I was saying the words out of my mouth, I kept thinking, this guy's going to send the marshals on.
That's
they're
right.
gonna drag me out kicking. And then I thought, I better just tell him. So he didn't say anything. He said, ma'am, why don't you go sit down? Everything's going to be fine. This is a well-known airline. We have perfect blah, blah, blah. He went on and on. I thought, yeah, he's right. I don't know what's gotten into me. Went and sat down. I heard my mother's voice again. Lisa, get off the plane. Again, I looked around, and I'm thinking, I really don't know anybody on this plane. So long and short of it, within about 3 minutes of this occurrence of me talking to the pilot, I hear on the intercom, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like you to all go back to this such and such gate because we're having a mechanical problem. So as I'm walking off, the pilot grabs my arm, and I wasn't being very psychic back then because I'm thinking I'm going to get arrested.
Right, right.
So he pulls me into the cockpit, and he said, ma'am, how did you know? How did you know? And I said, I don't know. I just felt like there was a problem. And what had occurred is there was a problem with an engine and the landing gear.
Okay.
So even though we were on the tarmac, if we would have taken off, the landing gear, 90% chance it would have malfunctioned and we would have crashed. So
My goodness.
next day in the newspaper, there's an article in a Boston newspaper saying, mystery psychic saves 200 and something lives on
Wow.
flight, blah, blah, blah,
Right.
such and such an airline.
Right.
So my friend who lives in Boston, he sends me the news article and he says, oh, so you're a psychic now. I said, not really.
Oh, no, tell the good part.
Yes, so everyone survives.
Right? No, the handsome guys, didn't you get the first class ticket?
Yes, I want to tell you, I forgot that. I didn't want to take all your time.
No, that's all part of the story.
This is so crazy. So when I was walking back to the gate of the airline, two big beefy men who were pretty good looking came after me or were walking after me, and then they got in line at the gate of the airline, and they had bought a ticket, and they turned around and they handed me this ticket, and they said, ma'am, we'd like you to have this ticket. And I said, excuse me? And they said, and I'm thinking to myself, these guys look like two professional football players. They were really big gentlemen. And they said, we want you to have this ticket. And I said, why is that? And they said, well, we figure on the next flight out to Vegas, we want the angel to sit in first class with us. Because if anything's going to happen, we want to know before it happens. And they turned out to be two professional football players for the Chicago Bears.
See?
So it was a crazy situation.
But see, you help a lot of people along their paths of life in a positive manner.
Thank you. I feel like it's, like I said, a gift. And, I have to tell you, Lillian, for years I fought it. And you met me when I was working in the state government.
Right.
And I would get information on people all the time, but I fought it because my logic-based brain was arguing with my psychic brain. And truthfully, in our society, religious belief systems don't necessarily or didn't accept these type of beliefs.
Unless you're a spiritualist.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. And
so you've got, but what has happened though, you've picked up a couple of good, as one would say, gigs.
Yes.
With the fiesta. And so twice a month you've got shows.
I do. So what had happened is I ended up, funny story, reading for some casino executives.
Oh gosh.
By referral, word of mouth, and they then told other people, and it ended up that I was asked to do shows for stations, casinos, and I vary to different locations, and I go back and forth currently to the Fiesta Rancho, which is in North Las Vegas.
Correct.
And also to the Railhead at the Boulder Station. So
Wonderful.
twice a month.
Wonderful.
Yes.
If you want to know more about Lisa Lee, and I'm going to tell you, she's a fantastic personality, with the spirits or without the spirits. You're just fabulous. I love you to pieces. But more about Lisa Lee, go to her website. It's psychiclisalee.com.
Yes, ma'am.
Very easy. psychiclisalee.com. Is there a phone number you would like the public to have?
Sure.
Okay.
They could call me at 702-372-5048. And that's 702-372-5048. It's a hotline, voicemail, and I'll call them back personally.
That's Lisa Lee, natural psychic and medium, right here in our community. You can see her twice, 2 shows a month at the Railhead in Boulder Station or at the Fiesta Rancho, which is in North Las Vegas. Go to her website. Find out all about her. It's psychiclisalee.com, or give us a call at 702-372-5048. I'm Lillian McMorris, and we thank you for joining us right here on the Lillian McMorris Show, and we'll see you next time.